So welcome to this short interview with Professor Shareen Doak from the University of Swansea, who is coordinator of the Patrols project. We will introduce the project and review achievements for 2018 before taking a look at targets for 2019. So welcome, Professor Doak. Do you want to give us a quick summary of the Patrols project?
Yes, thank you, Claire. So Patrols is a European Commission funded project through the Horizon 2020 scheme, and it's focused on establishing and standardising a battery of next generation hazard assessment tools that are aimed to more accurately predict the adverse effects caused by much more realistic nanomaterial exposure, particularly long-term low-dose exposures in both human and environmental systems. And the aim is that these tools would be useful for both industry to support product development through safety testing early on in the pipeline, as well as supporting regulatory risk decision making. So more specifically, Patrols is creating advanced ecotoxicity testing bioassays and in vitro models of the human lung, gastrointestinal tract and liver. We're also developing in silico predictive models for nanomaterial hazard evaluation. And additionally, we're aiming to increase our understanding of key events that underpin adverse outcome pathways associated with disease development. And this will not only improve our understanding of nanosafety more generally, but will also reduce the reliance on animal testing within hazard evaluation strategies by providing new and more reliable in vitro tools. So the project has been running for 12 months now out of a 42-month duration, and we have a budget of 12.7 million euros because we're quite a large consortium made up of 24 international partners spanning Europe, Asia and North America.
And so what have been the achievements of the Patrols project in its first year?
Well, because we are such a large consortium, getting started when you have a team of quite a diverse spectrum of disciplines means that we've had a lot of initiation and startup activities, as we felt it was very important to build solid foundations to allow the science to develop. So this has included establishing the working teams. We've provided a centralized database, which is both for collecting the data that we will generate in the project, but also for harvesting data from previous projects so that we can build on best practice. We've also been putting into place formalised guidance documents and standard operating procedures for the consortium. So, for example, we have documents that allow us to purchase nanomaterials and handle them. So, for example, dispersion protocols and endotoxin testing protocols, which the whole consortium follow. Now, establishing these guidance documents has been really quite important because when you have a complex project across multiple partners, having a standardized approach across the whole group is really key to ensure consistency in the approaches we use that underpin the direction of our work. We have also made other significant progresses during the year in a number of areas. So, for example, we've met with industry stakeholders to both understand their needs for nanomaterial assessment, but also talk about how they could access our results. We've designed the first generation lung, liver and gastrointestinal tract models, which are currently being tested with more realistic repeated nanomaterial exposures. Our partners have completed a comprehensive review of all existing long-term nanomaterial exposures in animals via oral and inhalation studies. And this data is going to be really key in benchmarking the development of our advanced in vitro models. And finally, we've also initiated the first set of long-term exposure studies in environmental organisms.
That sounds really detailed. And what are the targets for the second year of Patrols?
With very strong foundations laid in this first year, we really have quite a busy time ahead of us now, building on the work that we've initiated. So a big aspect of what we'll be doing in the next year is completing the benchmarking and preparation of standard operating procedures for the first generation advanced lung, gastrointestinal tract and liver models, which we've already optimized for long-term nanomaterial exposures. This is also going to be coupled to initiation of the work to further enhance the relevance of these models through the introduction of tissue flexing and fluid flow so that they more closely represent the human body. Once we've done that, we then plan to evaluate the impact that those adaptations have on improving the predictivity of the models for hazard testing. Another level of what we're doing in the next year is the development of standard operating procedures for advanced ecotoxicity bioassays that again support long-term nanomaterial exposures, but in this case across multiple environmental organisms. And in addition to that, we'll be continuing to build on our understanding of long-term nanomaterial exposure effects at both the population level and across a food chain within our environment. Because we have our database in place now, we will also be able to expand the development of our in silico hazard screening toolbox in the coming year. And then finally, we'll also be holding a co-hosted joint meeting at the OECD on adverse outcome pathways to both support international advances in this area, but to also feed into our future development of more refined and targeted in vitro assays with potentially higher predictive value.
Well, thank you very much indeed for such a detailed insight into the work of patrols, and we look forward to an update at the end of 2019.